complete that for us. But without any further ado, if you're here for the 1:30 to 2 o'clock SBA presentation with Brad Curry on recovering and moving forward with the SBA, you are in the right place. And with that, I'll turn it over to Brad Curry.
Excellent. Thank you, Tommy. Appreciate it. Let's see if I can get this going correctly. There it goes.
Brad, it looks good. Yeah, I was just going to say, it looks perfect. You've got it up and running, so I'm going to mute and let you take it from here.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much. Appreciate you including myself and the SBA in this Small Business Summit. That's been a very good group of presenters to follow behind. Hopefully I can help us finish strong here. So my presentation, I'm going to touch on the different disaster assistance programs that the SBA has been doing and are going to be continue doing moving forward. And then also talk about some other aspects of the SBA that many people may not be too familiar with, and how they may help you take that pivot or that turn in your business to find new revenue streams as well. So let's see if this is going to work for me. All right. So most people are familiar with the Paycheck Protection Program. Applications in today, basically. So if you haven't already applied through your lender for the Paycheck Protection Program or the PPP, it may be too late because it actually has to be submitted to the SBA today. For national numbers, the program as of June 20th, that's the most updated numbers I have, but total loan numbers across the country were over 4.5 million number of loans for a net dollar amount of $514 billion, almost $515 billion. The program helped and is continuing to help small businesses across the country to continue to pay their employees, to help pay for their health insurance and all those payroll costs, as well as some of the utilities, rent, lease, mortgage interest, things like that as well. And of course, if you've participated in this program or have been following it much at all, you've noticed that it's changed quite a bit from the very beginning till where we're at now. There's been some changes in the term of it, in the amount of time you have to spend the funds. So it went from 8 weeks to 24 weeks that people can actually use those funds now. It was really hard to be able to spend all that money that you were getting within that 8-week period and you're not even open. And then dealing with employees that didn't want to come back because they may have been making more money on unemployment with the benefits that came through the CARES Act as well. So it's been moving around, and we've been constantly trying to improve it and help make it possible to get the most funds out to as many businesses as we can, and make it possible for as many businesses to be able to get full forgiveness as well. I skipped over a little bit, but so the Maine numbers also here in Maine were 26,400 total PPP loans. And then the net dollars on that was 2.2 billion PPP loan dollars right here in the state of Maine to help the small businesses be able to continue to pay their employees and keep them on the payroll, opposed to having to let them go. It's been tough for a lot of businesses here, understandably, especially with the seasonality of Maine, and we're in the middle of what we should be thriving in right now. So hopefully the PPP and the EIDL, Economic Disaster Loan, has been helping these businesses get through this, and will continue doing so. You'll see it says amount of funding remaining. So the program still has over $125 billion in it. That was based off of the second load of funding that came through when we ran out a week into it to begin with. So there's still funds in there. Like I said, it does close today. Right now, we don't know what Congress plans to do with the additional funds, if they're going to reallocate it in some way, or what the situation is going to be. It's just going to be a wait and see kind of thing for Congress to figure out what they want to do with those funds. However, I do suggest, if you haven't already, go to our website, the sba.gov/ME. Scroll down, that's our district office website. Scroll down to email updates. Click on get email updates, put in your email address, and then when new information comes out about this or anything else that the SBA is pushing out, our bi-weekly newsletters of events that we're doing will get pushed out in that way as well. But if you sign up for it, you'll be able to find out as soon as we do of what's going to be happening with those additional funds, if anything. So a little bit more information on the PPP. After they did the PPP Flexibility Act, it adjusted it to where the businesses can use 60% towards payroll, 40% towards other eligible costs, and still be able to maintain forgiveness, which that loosened it up quite a bit for those small businesses as well. Before it was 75 and 25, and now with that 60% minimum to be able to still get that forgiveness really helps. Plus, they've extended it up to 24 weeks. There's a 10-month deferment for payments as well. So if you do have to make payments because you didn't get full forgiveness for whatever the case may be, then you don't have to start making those payments until 10 months after you had received those funds. Let's see. So you can get more information on the PPP through our website, the SBA.gov. That'll take you to the national headlines there and see all the different information that we have on coronavirus, on disaster assistance, on funding, all right through that website. So as I mentioned, the SBA is only taking applications till the end of today for the PPP, and that basically means you had to have already applied. Your lender has to have approved you on their end and get it submitted by the end of today. The Economic Injury Disaster Loan, or the EIDL, the EIDL, it started in the middle of March. It's had its challenges as well. SBA has been doing disaster assistance for decades, helping with hurricanes, fires, floods, all kinds of natural disasters. And although those are huge events, but they're more localized. And with this nationwide pandemic, for us, worldwide overall, but nationwide pandemic with millions of small businesses affected, our systems weren't able to hold up as well as we would have liked at the very beginning. So they streamlined things and made it a little easier to be able to apply for the EIDL. They've made some changes in it as well to where you can get an advance based off the number of personnel you have that work for you. And they're finally getting through all those loans, all those applications. There were over 5 million applications nationwide that they're finally getting through. As you can see on the numbers of loans approved is 1.7 million as of about 10 days ago. And between then and now, I'm sure they've increased that even more. It took a while to get going, but they're rummaged through there pretty quick and making some progress and getting money to small businesses across the country and here in Maine to be able to help pay the working capital costs. Those funds can be used towards your regular monthly bills that were already in effect prior to the pandemic, or anything that because of the pandemic you had to start this new payment for whatever reason like that. So in Maine with the EIDL, so far, as of also June 20th, there's been 6,670 loans approved and over $416 million in EIDL funds going towards Maine small businesses. And that was 10 days ago. I'm sure that has gone up, and we expect it to continue to go up at an increasing rate because they've been able to hire new people on at the Office of Disaster Assistance to work through these and get those small businesses funded. The SBA Main District Office here has been putting a lot of other things that we do on hold so that we can really focus on this. And as the PPP closes down and these are finally getting through the application process a little quicker and more smoothly, we're able to divert back into some other programs and services the SBA does, but we're still answering questions. If you have any issues with your EIDL, if you have received an email that may look suspicious to you about your EIDL application, you've been approved, it's telling you go into a portal, things like that, that's actually a really good email. That's a legitimate email. I've had several people call and say it just doesn't look right. I want to make sure. And that is great. Please, if you receive any emails that say they're from the SBA or they're EIDL or they're PPP or anything like that, and it just doesn't quite seem right, please call me, email me, and I'll help verify that it's a legitimate email and help you understand what those next steps are that you may have to do. So also some of the disaster relief stuff that we're doing is SBA Debt Relief. If your business currently has or does get a new SBA guaranteed loan, the SBA is making 6 months worth of payments on those current SBA guaranteed loans. If you're able to get a new SBA guaranteed loan and it closes prior to September 27th, 2020, we'll also make those first 6 payments for you as well. This also includes the 504, the 7A, the microloans. All of those different loan programs are part of this debt relief. So if you currently have an SBA guaranteed loan and you're still making those payments, you can actually stop or you can continue on, but the SBA is going to continue making those monthly payments as well for a total of 6 payments. You just end up doubling it up if you continue making those payments, or you stop and the SBA is doing it. It's going to not affect your loan at all in an adverse way. I mean, if you decide you are trying to make some changes and you're trying to grow your business and you need to get a new loan for some equipment, or you're going to move and you're going to buy a new piece of property, you can do all those things. I suggest doing it soon so that you're ensured that it closes prior to the September 27th deadline. The 504 loans, if you're going to be buying property, doing some construction, things like that, it all kind of falls into that 504 guarantee. Then you're going to want to do that before the middle of August, because there's going to be some additional time that the community development company or corporation has with it and things like that too. So it will still be able to close by September 27th completely. So look into that as well. It could be a great way to be able to get those funds that you need to continue to grow your business, since you've making it or have made it pretty much through the pandemic. Hopefully we don't have to have a second round or third or fourth round of all this assistance and having more issues. But so that's another option you can use as well, is that SBA debt relief and getting a new SBA guaranteed loan. So a little bit of information on that too. Lenders may not intentionally shorten loan maturities so that you only have 6 months or less, on that loan, because then that's basically a grant, and we can't do that. SBA expects lenders to establish the repayment schedule and the loan maturity for new loans in the same manner as the lender similarly sized SBA guaranteed loans approved for prior to the COVID-19 emergency. So they can't expedite it, they can't shorten the terms. They have to process it the exact same way they process it all the time before the whole pandemic even existed. So it's your typical SBA guaranteed loan. And the way, if you're not familiar as well, the way the SBA guaranteed loans work are, you start with the bank, you go to the bank, you apply for a conventional business loan. If for some reason your application does not meet the bank policies, then they can add that SBA guarantee to it, which mitigates their risk and still allows them to fund your project or whatever it is that you're trying to get those funds for your business. There's a little bit more to it. Each guarantee has a little bit different usage to it. The 7A program covers just about anything that you might need funds for your business. The 504, that's for the commercial real estate. Microloans, those go up to $50,000. They have some mandatory training classes that you might have to take as well that would help get your business finance knowledge up a little bit better, so you are more marketable for those larger loans. Yeah, so that's basically the financing portion of that and the debt relief. So when we're moving forward to recovering and moving forward, we have several programs that we've been working with for a long time. One also on the SBA guaranteed loans, we've also increased the amount of the SBA Express loan, which typically it had a max of $350,000 and a 50% guarantee for the bank. Now, through the end of the year, if you need to get an SBA guarantee, they can simply make it an SBA Express loan up to $1 million. And again, if that's done before the 27th of September and closed by then, you can also have those first monthly payments paid for. So also opening new revenue streams by selling to the government. We have government contracting assistance. We have the 8A program. We have Jim Pino. He's my counterpart up in Bangor. He covers the entire state of Maine for the SBA. He's our government contracting specialist. He will meet with you, talk to you about selling to the government, how to put your product or your service into the market to sell to the government, how to bid on different contracts. One of the main resource partners for government contracting is the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, or PTAC. They're located across the country as well, and they have several advisors right here in Maine to help you on every level of government, from state, local, all the way up to federal as well, to help you understand getting into that new revenue, that new market, excuse me. There's advantages to selling to the government as well as to the federal government on the higher level. Small businesses have different certifications. So the federal government has a goal of selling 23% of 23% of our purchases need to go towards small businesses. And there's different small business certifications to continually open up that door a little bit more for different agencies to purchase from your business. And we can get more into that. We plan to do some more webinars in the near future, as well as we're still not planning to do a whole lot of face-to-face workshops and presentations, unfortunately, which I really miss getting out and seeing people and shaking hands and discussing things face-to-face. It's a whole nother interaction that I prefer, but we're working on adjusting that, just as all you small businesses have adjusted on how you're acting and how you're building your business now. Another way of finding another revenue stream is looking at global markets. There's 96% of the global marketplace is outside of the United States. We have assistance, we have guaranteed loan programs, 3 different ones that can be used for exporting. We have partnerships with the Maine International Trade Center. They have international trade specialists that can help you determine where is the best market in the world to sell your product or your service. And we also have certified export counselors, advisors from the Small Business Development Center that can also help you put that export plan together and really make it to where you have the knowledge to move forward, which helps take the intimidation out of it completely. Because once you've been provided that knowledge from advisors, mentors, that have all that information for you, And once you soak that up, you'll feel more confident to be able to take that next step into government contracting or to selling your product overseas as well. We also have grants for research and development, the SBIR, STTR programs. The Maine Technical Institute, they receive a grant from the SBA to provide these grants to businesses that are developing new technologies and need help getting the funds to develop it and then be able to bring it into the marketplace. Lender match, it's very similar to Lending Tree. So if you are looking to get a business loan, but you want a new lender, or you don't know a lender to go to, you're not currently working with one, when you're ready to approach a lender and actually apply for a loan, and you have your business plan, you have all the information that you need to move forward to apply, you can go into Lender Match, put in a little bit of information, and then hit submit. And on the back side of that are several SBA lenders that are looking to find new businesses to lend to. They'll review your information and they'll say yes or no that they're interested. If they say yes, then you'll get a message and it'll open up lines of communication so you can start talking about it. It's not like the Lending Tree for mortgages in a way, because you're not going to get bombarded by 50 different lenders that are trying to sell you a mortgage. You probably will get contacted by 5, 6, 15, maybe up to 15 different lenders, depending on what your business is and where you're located, what you're trying to do. But they'll contact you, and then it's just up to you to start working with whichever one you feel most comfortable working with. And the SBA lenders here in Maine have been doing a phenomenal job prior to the pandemic, and then especially during the pandemic with all the PPP loans that they have done. We wouldn't be able to get those funds out to the small businesses without their exceptional assistance with that. Let's skip to the bottom and just real quick. The SBA Emerging Leaders Program, we've been doing it across the country for 12 years now. We've had it in Maine from last year and the year before. This year we ended up having to cancel it and postpone it for next year. But what it is a streetwise MBA program, 6 to 7 months long. There's 13 modules in it. It's for businesses that are poised to grow. So the minimum requirements typically are $250,000 in annual revenue, at least one other employee, so that you can have somebody else handling business while you are working on your business. As Michelle was saying in the last presentation or prior to that, you find ways to work on your business and not always in your business. And that's really what this program does, is it helps you work on your business, covers several different topics, and it's just a wealth of information. Unfortunately, I really wish we could have had it this year. I was the program manager last year. It's a great program. If you can apply for it next year, be looking for it. We'll be recruiting probably early January. And then the last thing here is our official resource partners. SCORE, the Small Business Development Center, the Women's Business Center, and the Veteran Business Outreach Center. They are all partially funded by the SBA and provide free business advising and mentorship all the time. They've been helping small businesses through this pandemic just heavily all the time with trying to figure out how to apply for the different disaster assistance things. And then also, how are they going to reopen? How are they going to be able to bring their employees back? How are they going to shift and make that pivot? And they've been such a great asset to the SBA for decades and continue to do so. And I have to thank them as well for all the hard work that they do. I'm constantly referring people to them. I'm not an advisor, but I'll sit down and talk with people, find out what it is that they're trying to do, and then try to refer them over to the appropriate resource partner. So the information for the disaster relief stuff, you can look at that first link on there, the SBA.gov funding programs, loans, coronavirus relief options. There's a lot of information about that. And then our district office website, the SBA.gov/ME, as I previously mentioned, There's also a link to lender match on there. We have a calendar of events that we're going to be populating here real soon with more webinars. So go in there. There's a whole bunch of information that you can get just from that website, and it's free. If you don't have our resource partner contacts, you can go there to get them as well, or just Google all those names that I mentioned: SCORE, Small Business Development Center, Women's Business Center, and the Veteran Business Outreach Centers here in Maine. Just Google them, you'll be able to get to their websites as well. We have 7 people in the Maine District Office. This is the list of all of our personnel. As you see my information, I don't know if you can see my cursor on there or not, but in the bottom left-hand corner right there, feel free to call me or email me with any kind of questions that you may have, if we're not able to get to all those here during this this summit that we're working on here. So that's my presentation. I try to fit a lot of information in there. As Michelle noted, I think I'm more of a generalist because I have a whole bunch of different stuff that I can put out there to you. So if you have any questions, you don't know where to go when it comes to business, contact me. We have great relationships with a lot of the different organizations that are on here today and several others as well.
Well, thank you, Brad. And I don't see a lot of questions coming through, but I know that maybe it's just because we're at the end of the day, and some of you have been on this this summit for 4 hours now. But really great